Hello, everyone! Welcome back to Mental Chillness, everybody. I haven't done this fucking intro in a long ass time, and I want to change it up. So, welcome back to Mental Chillness, your favorite comedy self-help podcast. I am still your fairy buff mother. And basically, I've been gone for a while. I haven't recorded for a while. I feel like a lot of things are changing, and I want to include you in on these changes. I don't want to ever do anything with the process of this podcast without, you guys knowing exactly what's going on. And also, I'm grateful that I have this space to be able to open up and take everybody along for the ride. I'm grateful that everybody supports the ride. So, thank you for being so patient, everybody, and welcome back to Mental Chillness. This is my second time re-recording this solo episode. And this solo episode is honestly very special to me. So if you choose to listen, I just want to say thank you in advance for taking your time out and making some space for me. But yeah, if this is your first time checking out Mental Chillness, I just want to say thank you. And for everybody that's not new, I want to say thank you 10 times because I love you guys. And I just want to say all this before I start ugly crying because, bro, the first time that we did this, I don't know why, but I just was like sobbing, dude. And I'm so fucking glad, and I will talk about it later, but I'm so fucking glad that the audio of the first recording was kind of messed up because deadass, bro, I was literally sitting here crying to Arena about how I have a crush, and a week later, that crush vanished.
Gone?
Well, it's not gone, but basically gone out of my mind because people are weirdos. But anyways, I feel like it was all meant to be. So, first of all, I just want to say that the whole living with mental illness and working towards mental chillness, I feel like that was a great foundation, laying ground for the podcast. I feel like that really conveyed the purpose and message of what we were trying to establish with starting this podcast. But I never want this podcast to be limited to only things that are related to mental health, because I want to emphasize on the point that mental health is in all things and mental well-being is in all things. And so I feel like I want to expand the conversation to so much more than how to scientifically help everybody fucking not have anxiety and all of these different things. I feel like a part of why you guys are so drawn to me and Jules and to me and to this podcast is because it feels like, or you guys have told me that it feels like you are in this conversation with us, that you're on FaceTime with me, that you're, whatever. And so throughout a lot of different changes that's been happening, I realized a couple of really important things. First is that I don't think that I want to be an interviewer, and I don't think that I enjoy the interviewing process. And so because when I watch other podcasts and when I listen to other people do their thing, they shine in such a way where you're like, that's a good interviewer. Or, these people really know how to pull different questions out of whatever. And they're really good at what they do. And I left the recording feeling super overthinking of did I ask this person anything about themselves? Did I stick to my outline at all? Did I, you know what I'm saying? I was super overthinking it, and then I had an epiphany of oh dude, you were never trying to be the best interviewer in the world. You only just ever wanted to have conversations with people. And so within wanting to change things about the structure of the show, I realized that I do not want to continue doing what me and Jules were doing, if that makes sense. I don't want to continue something that I feel like me and Jules started and what we did, the outline, the structure, everything, I feel like it served its purpose up to this point. And at this point, I'm in a space where now I can choose to flourish on my own, or I can choose to stay in the same cycle and the same pattern and try to keep up something that is no longer here. And the thing that's no longer here obviously is me and Jules, because it's just me now. But I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. I think that this is a chance of freedom, of freedom of expression, of freedom of me taking back control of my art and my creation and really doing something that will make me happy. And the reason why I've been taking like this fucking month-long hiatus of like posting and stuff is because could I have scheduled guests and whatever and set up all of these things to continue, to continue the podcast in the sake of consistency? Yes. But would I have been 110% and be joyous to be doing that? No. And the reason why is because I feel stuck and I feel lost and I feel like no one else is limiting myself besides me. And so I need to be able to break out of that mode. And so I used to have this wild dream of retiring my parents by the time that I'm 25, right? And I had this dream when I was 19. So in my mind, realistically, I was like, that's like 6 years. I could totally fucking do that, bro. Like, that literally, isn't it so? I was literally like, bro, I can totally do it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm retiring my parents by the time I'm 25. I am literally turning 25 in like 4 months, bro. And I am the most broke I have ever been in my entire fucking life. And I am so humbled right now. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to retire my parents by the time I'm 25 is because I wanted to overcompensate for everything else. I thought in my brain that if I were to be able to accomplish this huge goal, if I could retire them, that means that I am successful. That means that I have money, and that means that I am doing something right, right? And so, because I can provide them that means that they now can't say anything anymore about who I am. They can't say anything anymore about my tattoos, why I dropped out of school, why I don't grow up in this traditional fucking, you know what I'm saying? I was super overcompensating on the fact that like, I didn't know how to be myself around you. I don't know how to be myself around you. I don't know how to get you to accept me. I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know how to open up to you. I don't know how to do any of that. But I want your love and acceptance so bad. So if I can retire you and provide you that, maybe you can forget about the fact that I am not what you want me to,
Yeah, I think it's like just a way to gain freedom from your parents too, like not to question any of your decisions.
Exactly. But like that was.
Do you really truly need this?
No. Exactly, but that's the whole like unworking of the past like 5 years. It's like every year I would get closer to being like, we're like 3 years away from 25 now. But like every year it would get me to think deeper and deeper of why is it that you want to do that so bad. Sorry everyone, I got some doggies over here, so like if you're hearing them in the fucking thing,
He's trying to escape the cage.
Twin, stop. Anyway, so I realized that, well, okay, one time I was talking to my friend. He is a father of like 3. He's a husband. He's a lot older than me. And he was telling me that if I were to wake up and my child would tell me that their dream is to retire me, I would fucking cry. Like, I would be crushed. And because, like, why would my child dream of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that dream has nothing to do with me. I don't want my child to retire me. You know what I'm saying? And that made me realize all of this. I was like, oh shit, you're right. It's truly not my parents' dream for me to retire them. It's my dream to retire them. And it's my dream to retire them, not really to retire them. Like, yes, do I want to give them the world? Absolutely. But at 20, my mindset was that once I retire them, I no longer will have to hide or explain why I am the way that I am, or feel any kind of shame, or feel any kind of sadness that I am not what you want, I am not what you like whatever. And so from working through all of that, I realized that I don't need to somehow magically pop off and become a millionaire in order for me to be happy. Like, as long as my parents are fucking happy and healthy and they're here with me and my siblings are good and we're besties, that's literally all I need in life. And so, right now, realistically, what I can do is spend as much time with my parents as I can, help them with all the little things that are in my control and within my reach, like taking them to the doctor, taking my mom to fucking acupuncture, fucking booking shit for them, helping them, little shit that actually does impact their day-to-day life. That's how I can make a difference with my relationship with them, and also that's how I can make a difference with the way that they view me, because now I'm no longer this distant child that's hoping that in 5 years I can give you millions of dollars and then you'll be fine with it. Now you actually get to have a relationship with your child who has nothing, who literally, dude, for Christmas last year, for the first time in my life, in probably like 7 years, I asked my mom to buy me headphones for Christmas. That was the first time since I was a child that I can remember asking my mother specifically for a gift. And I asked her for that because headphones were like something that I really needed, but at the time I was way too broke to think about spending extra money on headphones. And it just so happened that it was Christmas and my mom keeps asking me, what do I want? And for the first time ever at 24, I was telling my mom, can you please buy me headphones? And that's so little. You know what I'm saying? It's so little, but to me, that was such a turning point because I was like, dude, like, that's my mom. Like, I can ask my mom for... Already fucking crying. But, like, I was like, dude, like, everything that I was telling myself were some kind of a lie to protect myself. Because are they true? Part of them are, because I'm carrying them from my childhood. And so the things that I feel like they're relevant, they're valid. But the experience isn't the same anymore.
Exactly, and you're a grown person now.
Yeah, exactly. And so are my parents. And so, like, my parents aren't making me feel like shit anymore, like on purpose. And so now we're like in a different place. And so now I have to actually unlearn all of these different things that I kept telling myself so that I could keep myself in this box to be safe. So that I didn't have to actually make any true, real effort that were going to be uncomfortable and sometimes in risk of rejection and neglection and all of those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like playing it safe the entire time. But anyways, from breaking down...
What changed for you?
I think it's slowly understanding that, like, what all the things that I was dreaming of, those aren't the things that are going to fill this void. Like, the things that are, like, actually filling this void is, like, fucking going to my mom and sitting in her space when I'm sad. Because that's my mom. And I just want to watch her do things, Or, like, fucking just calling my dad. Like, literally calling my dad and just being like, hey, what are you doing? How are you? And then him being like, do you work today? And have a 2-minute conversation. And then I feel so much better because I was able to hear my dad's voice. And even though I don't have this close relationship with them, I will take all that I can get. And if all that I can get is this simple, like, hey, how are you? Be safe, drive safe type shit, then that's more than enough. That means so much more than any kind of amount of money that I can make. And I only realized that because I am the brokest that I have ever been in my life. And I have been for a while now. Like, I've been struggling, like, financially for a while now. But, like, that's the only thing that has humbled me enough to go back and be like, fuck, mom, I need help. Or, like...
Yeah, and it's okay to reach out to them. I feel like it's just that the dream that you were seeing for yourself was not your true dream. The true dream you had was to fill that void.
Yeah, to be connected to my parents.
Exactly. So it's interesting that, like, being financially unstable and basically broke has led you to this realization, we do have to, like, hit the lows.
Yeah, absolutely.
In order to really figure out our route in life.
Absolutely. And that's how I feel about this podcast too, though, because I feel like the reason why I went off on a whole rant about my parents in the first place is because that was my whole motivation to make money. Like, that was my whole motivation to be so fucking crazy about money. And I feel like a part of starting this podcast was like, you know, having hopes and dreams that, you know, it might take off, or some way, somehow I can make some kind of money off of this. And the reason why I have this dream attached to this podcast is because I am not like a traditional, like, I didn't do well in school. I'm not a 9-to-5 gal. I'm not like I just cannot do like systems like that and corporate and shit like that, you know? And so me, in my mind, I never even wanted to like go to school. I had always just thought, I'm gonna do something that I can be my own boss, that I don't have to listen to anyone, that I don't have to work for anyone, but some way, somehow I'm gonna make money off of it, and it's gonna make a difference in my life and in somebody else's life. And I feel like from like this entire journey of the podcast, now I finally see, in the same way where it's like, oh shit, like I really don't need to retire my parents and I don't need all that money to be like, you know, have a connection to them. This, in a way, I'm like all the way back to like, oh shit, I really don't need to have that many listeners and that many followers, and I really don't need to like be that close to hitting the potential of being able to have ads on my podcast and all of these things, because truthfully, those are not the things that motivate me to do this podcast. Those were not the things that motivated me to start this podcast. And so why am I using this thing that I have created from pure love and joy? Why am I using it to, you know, potentially make money off of it? And in doing so, it's literally ripping me from all of my creativity and freedom of expression, because I then started to box myself in this whole, I need to be consistent with social media, I need to be consistent with posting, I need to be consistent with having guests, and I don't think that I'm interesting enough to hold my own conversations, so I need to book a guest every fucking week, and blah blah blah, like all of these different things. I don't believe in myself enough, so I feel like I need to bring on people who are more knowledgeable and more valuable in this world to be able to make a difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have learned so much from the beginning to now, that now I'm like, because I don't want to make money off of this, I'm finally taking back like the control and the freedom to be like, oh, I can literally do whatever I want. I can post when I feel like it, when I know that the quality of the episode is 110%, and I am at my best self, and I'm saying all the things that I'm proud to put out and whatever. Like, I can take my time, do that, drop an episode when I want, truly, and be super proud of that, rather than being stuck in this cycle of I need to post every single week so it could be consistent, but I'm sacrificing the quality of what I'm saying and how I'm presenting myself, because truthfully, keeping up with the consistency of this thing is really ripping myself of joy. And I wasn't fucking even making money off of it, so why was I taking it so seriously to where I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's because you were hoping
like
for one thing, but
different intentions.
but the problem is, your initial intention was to make something yours, you know, something where you have a lot of creative freedom, but the consistency and the people that you bring are cutting apart from that, because you need to follow certain things.
Yeah, because I'm tending more to them, and I'm tending more to like the sake of consistency, and I'm tending more to, oh, I need to do this for the amount of consistent views, and I'm totally neglecting myself. Like, I have loved all of the guests that I've had on, and I have loved all the guests that I've been able to connect with and then, you know, have conversations with and whatever. But I feel like it was wrong of me to put so much of myself into other people's hands. Like, truthfully, starting the podcast, like, I didn't think that I could do it myself, even though in the back of my mind I've always wanted to. I don't ever want to really, like, it's kind of weird, like, I'm always in between this, like, I want a community and I want to do everything myself, because I truly am more comfortable doing everything myself. like right now, like because I am doing this myself, I can kind of like truly listen to my body, feel when I'm sad, feel when I don't feel like doing it, like respect like when my creativity is like fucking off the charts, and you know, whatever. But I just feel like um I no longer want to like neglect the connection to myself and the power that I hold for myself. I want to truly believe in that. I want to truly believe in the quality of the things that I'm producing, even if it's one episode a month. I would rather that than producing all of these things because I think that I need to stick to a system, right? And the system have worked for other people, and there are so many examples out there, which is why I went into that train of thought in the first place. But now, after almost 2 years of doing it, I now realize that system doesn't work for me. I don't find joy in it. And yeah, like because I don't want to make money off of this anymore, I do actually like want to pay my debt. I want to put myself into like hair school. I'm like actually starting to think of like real career paths, you know what I'm saying? Like real career paths of like how can I establish a life for myself that is like peaceful and joyful, but also like I'm capable of providing myself with abundance, you know, like abundance of like finance and freaking like vacations and leisure time and like a fucking house for me to whatever. Like I feel like my dreams are all starting to really simplifying down and being very like a lot more realistic, you know. Besides like, you know, I still want to retire my parents, but like, you know, it's okay if I don't, I guess.
Of course it is. I mean, I think dreaming big is important, but you can't do that without having like simple steps.
Yeah.
And you also can't really do that when you don't get to enjoy anything on the way.
Yeah.
You know? So really having your dreams being broken down, being more simple, taking them step by step, I think is what would take you to a happier place. And obviously understanding yourself and your true wishes.
Yeah.
What you really want.
Yeah, exactly. I so much shit is fucking happening. I feel like I'm going through I keep thinking that okay, well, I'm no longer thinking this because this was me 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I was like, you know what? I am a little sad, but let's give ourselves some time. Maybe tomorrow we'll wake up, we'll feel better, and it's gonna be all fine. Literally, it's been 3 months, bro. I haven't worked out in a week. And today I went to the gym and I did 3 sets of pull-ups, and I literally just had a panic attack in the sauna. And I realized that recently I haven't been wanting to work out because whenever I move my body like intensely, somehow I just start fucking crying. And I think that is because there's something in here, or like there's a lot in here that I haven't fucking been processing, or whatever it is that I haven't been letting myself feel. So when I am like doing like a fucking intense exercise or something like that, my body is like, this is our chance to escape. Like my tears are like, this is our chance to fucking escape. And then they do come out, and then I'm like fucking out of breath for like 5 hours because I just had like a panic attack because I haven't been really digging up here to be like, what is going on, you know? I feel like it's been an interesting journey of depression, and I am hopeful that it will be done soon. But even if it's not, I feel like I've learned so many things out of this. I don't really know if I have like a definite solution to like what I feel, but I feel like I'm able to observe like the ballpark of what we're feeling and how intense it is, and then what we need to do like from there. So like if it's like moderate, you know, whatever, we're just feeling a little anxious or whatever, usually cooking and baking and, you know, eating and shit, that will like probably like make me feel better and ease my mind. And then if it's way more intense, then it gets to like a level of where like I don't even want to bake, I don't even want to cook, I don't want to really do anything. And so when I get to that point, I allow myself to go on walks and cry a lot. Like I usually go on walks when I'm like really bad. Like I just walk around like a big lake, like multiple laps, or just somehow be in the sun and I'm alone and I'm either listening to my own thoughts or I'm listening to like the surround sounds, and usually that will like place me in like the present of like, okay, like this doesn't fix it, you're still sad, but life is beautiful, the sky is fucking blue, like you're feeling the sun on your skin.
Yeah, it brings you
hear
back
birds.
to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So like it doesn't fix you, but like realistically you are okay. Like you truly are okay. Like it helps me like get into a mindset of like you have a lot, like don't think about what you lack, think about what you have. And what you have is like you have shelter, you have your health, you have your life, you have whatever, and even though you feel like shit right now, you know, whatever, take a beat and then we'll fucking figure it out. And then if it's even worse than that, that's usually when I stop showering. Bro, literally, I never thought that I would be the bitch to not eat or shower, but here we fucking are, man, bro. So like usually if I get to the point where I'm so sad to where like I cannot even freaking shower, that's when I will find something to be addicted to. So usually that'll be when I'm like freaking powering through like a full season of a show. Or like I'm finding like 1,000,010 freaking comedy podcasts to listen to, because usually, yeah, like I start to binge things that I know that are continuous, so that I am with something while I'm still sad.
Yeah, well, that is definitely a way to distract yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, do you feel that it is a healthy way?
Some of it yes, some of it no. So like me sitting here watching a show for like 8 hours, like is it that healthy? No. But does it allow myself to just be like, okay, like accept that you are so sad that you can't do anything? Like it brings me to a place of acceptance, and then from there I can think of a solution. If and I am this way now is because I haven't really I wasn't really ever this way before. Before, what I would do is that when I would feel something, instead of actually taking the time to observe the levels of what I feel and then deciding what to do from there, I literally just start filling up my day with people, activities, things, weed, like I would literally like not fucking even like skip a beat. Like I would always be continuously like doing something, and that's a distraction.
Yeah,
you know?
I
Like,
do that for sure.
like those, I know for sure that those are forms of distractions. But like I guess I have switched from a form of distraction that is so outwards that doesn't leave me with any time to be with myself. I feel like I have switched from that to now being like, okay, I'll be distracted on my phone, but I'm still by myself in my house. I'm still like taking my time to just be like, okay, how does this feel? How does, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I guess what you're doing is some sort of escapism, but
Definitely.
with yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if your day is filled with spending time with others, it's more of a distraction. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a big difference between these two. I don't think I've thought of that.
I feel like it takes a certain like level of awareness too to really know what you're doing in like the moment, because I no longer like fight myself with weed, right? And I am now taking like so many like voluntary like breaks and stuff when I want to, not necessarily even when I need to, but like when I want to, I'm able to do it. And that's only because my level of awareness is now like towards like trusting myself that I know what to do and I know what's good for me. So like before, I didn't really trust myself to be with myself to process these thoughts, so I would fill it up with distractions and I would fill it up with things that takes me out of that. And now I feel like because of my awareness, I still feel the same. I'm still the same like level of depressed and I'm still whatever, but like now I'm able to be like, okay, Khanh, but like you did all that already. You fucking made all the plans. You fucking fill your day up with like whatever. Like you did all that already, and did you feel better from it? No. Okay, so then fucking sit your ass down, relax, watch a fucking show, stop wasting your fucking money, stop wasting your fucking energy going out talking to all these people that really don't even make you feel better, because you don't even get to talk about the thing that you're feeling right now. You literally are going out asking other people how they're feeling and talking about their fucking day. Nobody's asking you about how you're feeling, and even if they are, you're not even fucking bringing yourself to share that shit. So what are you really doing, bro? Like, you're not making yourself feel any better. So now I have to, like, literally have a self-talk of, like, you know what you did before. Did that make you feel better? No. Stop wasting your money. Because we really don't have any to waste right now. That's literally, like, so many things. I think so many things have brought me to, like, this, like, conclusion, you know? And also, on the topic of a couple things changing, I feel that I know that I'm really good at not sharing and not showing myself. And so I've always felt this conflict of, like, yeah, I have a platform where I'm able to, like, share everything I want and, you know, whatever. But I feel like I was sharing, like, lessons that I interpret and things that I can put into words, like, eloquently and, you know, whatever the fuck. But I feel like a part of me was screaming to actually share details about myself. A part of me was actually, or it is, like, screaming to, like, truly open up, to truly, you know, talk about shit and not just vaguely talk about the situation and then go directly to the lesson that I learned. I feel like a part of me was, like, telling me, like, bro, you're, like, doing it you're literally half-assing, like, sharing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like no one, this is, like, probably, like, pretty harsh, but, like, no wonder why, like, people don't gravitate towards you to send you deep personal messages about how they feel and whatever. No wonder why people were always reaching out to Jules to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Because she has that reciprocation of openness to where she is, like, an open book. I'm better at masking. Like, I'm better at being like, this is what I'm going through, but none of you are ever gonna know what happened, who's in it, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's probably the way you will learn to move
Mm-hmm.
through your
It
life,
is definitely.
to mask things.
Definitely.
Right?
And I feel like my inner whatever is, like, screaming now at me to be like, dude, can you just fucking try? Can you just fucking try talking about something? And I think that the reason why I don't is because I don't want to be, like, all, like, you know, embarrassed. So, like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to talk about the things that are embarrassing to me. I don't want to talk about when I'm getting hurt. I don't want to talk about when people are fucking doing me wrong, because I try so fucking hard to hold myself in a light where you can't fucking touch me. You can't hurt me. You can't do anything. You can't intimidate me. You can't this. You can't that. Because all of my life, I have just been shitted on all my life. Like, you know what the biggest realization that I had lately? The reason why I have this learning anxiety and the reason why I don't know shit about anything that I learned is because I never learned anything. I was great, fucking intelligent, the smartest fucking little bitch, like, even at math, right? From first grade up to fucking third grade. Fourth grade was the year that I moved to America, so I didn't really learn anything in Vietnam, and then I didn't learn anything when I got over here in fourth grade. Fifth grade, I didn't learn anything. Sixth grade, I didn't learn anything. Seventh grade, I didn't learn anything. I didn't start to learn anything until eighth grade. And the reason why I say I didn't learn anything is because I didn't speak any fucking English. So when I first came to America, when I was sitting in class in fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, and some of seventh grade, most of what I was doing in fourth and fifth grade was coloring in the corner by myself. No one was teaching me anything. No one was letting me watch anything. No one was, you know what I'm saying? So I missed out on fourth grade education. And then I went to fifth grade and I didn't learn anything because I went to a Vietnamese, like, I went to a school where they also taught Vietnamese, French, and Spanish. And, but at that time, I still was not speaking English. So when I went to the class that spoke Vietnamese, which we were learning Vietnamese shit, like we were learning the literal Vietnamese language, I was fucking thriving in there, yeah, sure, because I was fucking just got over here. But for reading, math, and all of these things, it was still in English, and I didn't know any English. So I didn't fucking learn anything. I just learned how to pass. 6th grade, same thing. Didn't learn anything because I didn't speak any fucking English. So I just learned how to like pass the class, but I barely passed. They just passed me because I didn't speak any English. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even say my fucking teacher's name. By the end of 6th grade, for the first time ever in my life, I raised my hand and I said, Miss Rodriguez. And that was her name that I was so scared to say the entire year because I didn't know if I could say Rodriguez out loud correctly. So I just called her Miss the entire year. Yeah, but in 7th grade, I didn't really learn anything either because, again, I was like just now getting a grasp of the language. So I shit you not, my school years were all about how do I pass? How do I fucking cheat so I can pass this test? How do I fucking cheat so I can fucking like pass this like grade? How do I like I joke about like me not being smart and stuff, and like I know that I'm smart. I'm extremely intelligent, but I know that I'm more emotionally intelligent because that's how I learned to survive in my life. I didn't know how to do anything else because I didn't, you know what I'm saying? And so now I finally unlocked like that insecurity and that portion. This whole time I'm like, hun, you're actually like, why are you so like, how do you come from a fucking whole family of like geniuses and like you can't retain any information? You don't know what taxes are and you can't remember like any president's name and fucking like, you know, countries' flags and all of these different things. And just now am I like giving myself the grace of like, I'm pretty sure you forgot that you were very traumatized for like the first like 8 years of being here.
Dude, literally like moving to another country as a kid is very stressful. And then going through this whole like another educational system is so stressful. And when you do not know the language is like, I can't even imagine how hard that is. I like also like as an international student, that shit was stressful for me. But I fucking learned English I started learning when I was 6.
Yeah.
And then I moved here for college. Like I already had a bunch of English experience. And even then, like it was still hard and at some points embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because you, like literally the example that you gave with your teacher and with their name, I feel that because some words I just wouldn't say because I'm like, I don't fucking know if I'm pronouncing them right. And then people like make fun of that.
Yeah.
And you know, like if you are more or less grown, it's like you kind of can go through this. But when you're a kid, what do? You shut down.
Yeah.
And you learn your way around it. So I'm really glad that now you are realizing all of that and you really see that it's not your intellectual capabilities that are weird, but it's just the whole situation and the way the other kids treat you and the way the society works.
Yeah. I know that like the experience is like very common. Like I know that like to a certain degree every like immigrant child, like, you know, like, or just anybody that comes to a whole new different place not knowing anything, like the experience is so humbling, but it's also very like traumatizing. But I feel like in a lot of ways when you're in like this space, you know what I'm saying, like I am extremely grateful to where I understand that I'm much more fortunate than most, right? To where I'm able to come over here like on a plane with papers, like with shelter, with a family that's willing to help me. Like I understand that like my traumas were very much like emotional trauma, and I'm grateful that I have zero like actual physical, you know, whatever, but because of that and because I grew up in a culture where it was so hush hush, it was almost like, well, you mean you didn't fucking die, so like how could you say that you have it that bad, and how could you cry, and how could you know what I'm saying, like not even acknowledging your own, like no matter how big or small it is, everybody has the valid like, you know, right to feel.
Exactly. And I think this is what like we don't have enough knowledge about. Like people are always comparing their experiences, which is, it can be valid, but the most valid thing is that whatever we are experiencing is valid.
Literally. Exactly. And being able to process that, you know, and not bottle it up and whatever the fuck. And so, like, emotionally, that's where I have kind of landed to where I'm like, this whole time I keep telling myself that I have communication issues, that I don't know how to talk, that I don't know how to whatever, but I wasn't ever exploring why. I just capped it as this is not a skill that I have.
Kid.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, like, when you're a kid, you usually like learn from the society that's around you, right?
Exactly.
But who the hell showed you that?
Dude, but exactly, my whole surrounding is why I think I came up the way that I did, is because, say I was in a household where it was a lot more expressive and it was a lot more like open and welcoming to talk about shit, and the people that are adults like initiated the, you know, whatever. Like, imagine if I was in that kind of household, then I feel like I wouldn't have grown up to be this bottled up, freaking emotional hothead type shit to where like I explode, you know? Because I think that if I would have had that environment growing up, then I would have been able to cope with the pain. And I would have been able to like talk about the pain. But instead, the environment that I grew up in is a very hush hush culture, but also family. Nobody talked about anything. Nobody, like, you know, whatever. So how was I, this little fucking kid that you just brought to America for a better fucking future, how was I gonna go and cry to you about how I fucking hate it here and how I feel like shit? And that's not to blame my family at all whatsoever, but but like the environment and the surrounding of how I was brought up is how I learned all of my actual like mechanism, and, you know, like all of these different things. And so now emotionally as an adult, I'm able to go back and be like, in the same way that I gave myself grace for, like, you know, my education or whatever, now I'm able to be like, all right, bitch, like, you are really good at crying in silence because that's all you did growing up. You couldn't ever show anybody that you were crying because they would either, one, make fun of you, or two, yell at you and tell you that you're a little fucking pussy bitch, you know? So, like, you were never allowed to be able to properly process that emotion. You just learned how to do it in silence. And so now you are like a little psycho serial killer that can cry silently around anyone and no one would like have a fucking clue. You know what I'm saying? But that's like me learning a suppressing mechanism so well that now I'm like, oh, so I can't even like cry normal?
Yeah. Well, you have to unlearn that, you know?
I know. But now I'm like able to be like, okay, because of this in your childhood, it led you to be like this, and you're not permanently like this. You can unlearn it, but you need to acknowledge where it came from first so that you can, you know.
I think the important point is to actually realize that it's not your personality that's like that. Mm-hmm. It's the way you learn to survive in this society. And coming back to your other point about like expressive family, like obviously you would be able to be talking more openly, but I swear to God there would be other things that would also traumatize you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole process of growing is just so traumatizing.
That's why it's called growing pain, honestly.
Unfortunately, but at the same time, I feel like we are becoming like stronger people when we go through trauma and when we actually learn to process it and fight it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm super fucking proud of you, dude. Like,
oh my God, stop. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, you're doing super well.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Speaking of that, like, so within me wanting to like actually truthfully share more of myself, and not for the sake of letting everybody in my business, because that's honestly why I'm such a private person, but for the sake of being able to validate my experiences, no matter if it's good or bad, and no matter if I'm the one that's end up, you know, being a little embarrassed, you know, like So recently, so literally like what 3 weeks ago, me and Arena were literally like sitting here recording like the solo episode that we can't use, and I'm sitting here crying about how like I have a crush, I wanna feel my feelings, I wanna fucking whatever. Okay, bitch, so I did, right? And this is what happened. So fucking there was just like this incident of like this person, you know, trying to like get at me and, you know, shooting their shot and whatnot. And at first I was very like repulsive. But anyways, so yeah, so there was this incident of this person like really trying to pursue me, right? And so me in my mind, I was like, you know what? Maybe we should be open. Maybe we should date. Like, there's nothing wrong with dating. I'm also having a lot of realizations about myself, why I've been so closed off, and like why it's not necessarily great for me to be so closed off, and maybe there's nothing wrong with dating and opening myself up and having fun, all these different things. So I'm starting to have that revelation at the same time as this person's trying to pursue me. So me in my mind, I'm like, events clicking together, ha! So that's why I was literally like, okay, like I might have a crush, like I think I might pursue it. I just, you know, I'm gonna commit to my feelings. And so I do, right? And I am like I like to be an assertive person. I'm learning to be more assertive in like areas that are necessary, but I am naturally just like a very assertive person. Like whatever I want, I fucking go for it, right? So I like to like make moves. I don't like to like do the whole like courting shit. Like, bitch, if I like you, like I will be your daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I make my moves. I go for it. I open myself up or whatever, right? I go after it. I'm like, yeah, fun. I fucking start doing whatever the fuck. I call my friend one night. I go home from work. I call my friend. And I'm like crying because I have so much anxiety, right? And I was like telling my friend, basically I was holding in all this anxiety all day long, right? And then I left work and then I couldn't hold it anymore. So then I like just called my best friend and I was like calling him and telling him like, dude, like why can't I ever like anybody and not feel like shit? Like why does it feel so freaking like, why am I so anxious? Why isn't it fun? Like why can't I blah 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 blah? And so he's like yelling at me like, dude, it's because I've known you all your life and this is what you do. You just overthink it to the point where you don't even let yourself have fun. Like, I'm not saying that it's bad that you've been alone all these years, but like at the same time, I feel like you're depriving yourself of all of these different connections that you can have. And like, you need to remember that nothing is that serious. And the whole point is that you need to be able to be yourself, right? And that's why I was being so anxious in the first place, because like, I have always just not really been able to be myself, like, you know, and I fall into this trap of like, I'm the cool girl, I'm so cool, like I'm so cool, and then I'm not cool all of a sudden, I fucking explode, and it's because I'm suppressing all of my freaking emotions and I'm not being myself, right? So my best friend's like yelling at me and I'm like, you know what, you are so right, I'm making a move tomorrow, I'm making a fucking move, I'm doing it. So I hang up, whatever. Turns out I don't even have to make a move because this person ends up making a move, right? So in my mind, I'm like, things are working out. Things are working out, right? Things are working out. So I just go along with it. So I didn't have to make the move because, you know, this person ended up making the next move. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, things are working out. And I'm also taking into account that the experience isn't about this person at all. The experience is that I'm able to have a crush. I'm able to talk about it to my friends. I'm able to express to my friends that, hey, I'm human. I have these feelings. And, you know, my friend was able to be there for me. So that was like a great portion of the story, right? Whatever, we're over that, past that. This person makes a move. I'm like, cool. Literally, once I started reciprocating like the pursuit, this person just stopped. Because I guess like now what, the chase is over. Because like now I pay attention to you, you know what I'm saying? And like you got it, like you got my number, you got my, you know, whatever the fuck, whatever. So
ew,
yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah,
I fucking hate this shit. This is exactly when you know the person's not doing it for the right.
Yeah, exactly. Like why did you waste my time? Like you might do that for fun because that's how you live your life, but like bro, like I'm a very like fucking intentional person and I don't whatever. But anyways, it's not your fault that I chose you to like open up to, you know, whatever. I acknowledge that. So anyways, this person ends up doing that and now I have like the biggest ick, right? But the moral of that whole story is a couple of things. I was so afraid to talk to my friends about anything regarding who I'm dating, who I like, who I'm seeing, or anything like that, is because I don't know why, but I never want anyone to see me get hurt. I never want anyone to see that they could hurt me. I never want anyone to see that they can embarrass me. I never want anyone to see that this person is like being shitty to me and I'm allowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never want anyone to have like this judgment of me that's like, oh, she's being human.
What is it about it that makes you feel shitty when people see you getting hurt? Do you think it's a survival thing?
I think that it makes me feel not safe because because in my early life people like were doing it on purpose. So like it's the trauma of like people just setting me up to make fun of me type shit. And so like when it comes to like dating also, I don't have the best record of like dating the best people, and also I don't have the best record of like leaving things when it's necessary, or like doing the right thing, or being the assertive bad bitch or whatever. Like I do have a history of like repeating things, and like, you know, when it's way too long gone and way too late, and like staying with bad people and doing things knowingly that like my friends would judge me for. And I feel like from my past relationships and doing those things, and like my friends having like judgment on me or whatever it is, I just kind of took that and ran with it. And so now I feel like I can't share anything with anyone because I don't want my friends to make fun of me. I don't want my friends to like see this guy being really shitty to me, but me like chemically not able to like move on and like still like him. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then they make fun of it or like whatever the fuck. So it's just like, I feel this embarrassment that anyone can
hurt you.
Yeah, like I don't know why I make myself like not human.
Yeah, see, that's another point I wanted to make, that you just expect yourself to be perfect, like so strong, like no one can hurt me, like a robot, but you're not.
But in reality, I am the softest person alive. Like,
and guess what? Your friends who judge you or make fun of you, like they feel the same. They just probably also do not want to be seen as a sensitive person, because it's usually considered, oh, you're being a pussy or whatever. But you know what? Recently, like, when people tell me that I'm being a pussy, I'm just like, yeah, I'm a pussy. And you know what? This is the happiest fucking thing ever, because I'm like, yeah, I'm sensitive. Yeah. And if you have a problem with that, you can figure it out, but that's the way I am. Yeah. And I just let myself do it. And like, yeah, I don't have the best feeling when people see me hurt, but I don't try and hide, because this is what I need. These are my needs. Yeah. It's like eating or sleeping. Yeah. It's just emotional. So I think it's a nice way to look at things and just own whatever is yours and whoever you are, and really accept it, not try and change it, and just try to work with whatever personality you got. Yeah. And I think you are on the way. It sounds way easier than it is. I know. But I don't want to be hard. Like, that's my whole point. I don't want to be hard. I want to be soft. I want to find people that allow me to be soft. And like, in dating, it's so much more sensitive for me, because even this situation, realistically, this didn't take much from neither party, right? Realistically, we're grown as adults. We have fun, you know, we connected, we whatever the fuck, and it just so happened that like it didn't work out, right? But I am so fucking like sensitive, and I feel like my train of thought that I'm trying to unlearn is that just because I am one way doesn't mean that the other person is that way at all. Just because I am in this like healing process, and I feel like I have gotten to a different place where I can do things differently as a person and whatever, just because I am that
doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily attract only that. I need to be able to weave through like the bads. I need to be able to weave through like the repeated lessons of like, is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? You know what I'm saying? Like I need to be able to like go through these trial and errors so that I can be more assertive, so that I can be as sensitive as I am without anyone taking that away from me. And I feel like I haven't ever allowed myself to be truly myself. When I was younger, I dated someone all throughout all of high school, and that was my first relationship, that was my first love, and it was really, really toxic, and I learned a lot of like not great behaviors and whatever the fuck from that, right? And after that I went into another relationship to where that person is literally just an older version of my ex in high school, right? And then after that I got out and I started experiencing all these different like traumatizing like dating experiences of things not working out, but for the reasons of them sleeping around with your friends, or like, you know, just really not great experiences that can make me dismiss all of it as like I don't need it, you know. But truly, like, I do need it and I do want it, and I want to be soft. I want to be a lover girl. I want to be able to like act upon my feelings and fucking, I want to be, not that I want to be clingy and whatever, but I want to be able to text you like 7 texts in a row being really stupid and silly and funny without like having to psych myself out that I'm being way too much and way too clingy and that you're gonna get tired of me.
Well, yeah, the thing is, you just really have to find the right people, and this is the hardest part. This is the hardest part, to surround yourself with people who you feel comfortable around. And, you know, to surround yourself with people who you are yourself with.
Yeah.
And, like, it's okay if you haven't met these people yet.
Mm-hmm.
They are here.
Yeah, and it's okay that the recent experiences are bad, because now I know what bad is. Like, now I know what I don't want to take. Now I know what I don't like. Now I know that it's not acceptable. And within this past experience, I have really been able, I'm so sorry about these fucking goddamn dogs, but I have really been able to reframe like this mindset of like, okay, so say this person pursues me, right? I pursue back and they stop reciprocating once I whatever, right? Before, that situation would have made me question myself and be like, what did I do? Where did I go wrong? How come they don't like me anymore? Now, I don't give one fuck about what I did. I did what I fucking did. I choose to do what I fucking did, and I stand by it. And if you don't like it, then I don't need it. But if you choose to act this way, then that's all you. That's nothing personal to me, and I'm deciding that I don't like your behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, before it was all like, how can I make this person obsessed with me? Now I'm like, no, if you don't want me, fine. If you don't want me, cool, bro. Like, if this is how that worked out, fine. But you know what? Like, I didn't like your behavior either. And so I don't need to pursue you, because even if I start pursuing you so that you can be obsessed with me, in the end, am I really gonna like you? No, because I was just doing it for the chase, which is what you were doing. All in all, I think that this is the direction of how like the podcast is going to be. I think that I want to start setting up to be like a conversation truly between me and you. I mean, me, you, and Arena, but you know, like between me and you, and for me to really let you in on all the things that I'm experiencing and going through, and it's also a way for me to truly work on like my skills as to be able to communicate my own feelings and verbalizing things out loud and validating things for myself. And so to end it with a quit that shit, I'm quitting all of this. I'm quitting everything. We're quitting it all, baby.
New page, baby.
Exactly. I'm quitting all of it. I'm quitting like the freaking tie that I had to like everything that I thought was supposed to be. Like, and I'm allowing myself this freedom of when I feel like I have accumulated enough like knowledge, wisdom, freaking funny lessons and shit that has happened to me, I will hit Arena up, we will record an episode, I will put out the best freaking conversation that I can for you, and if that means 1 or 2 episodes a month instead of it being every freaking week, then so be it, because that means that I will feel more joy from that. And in return, if you choosing to stick around and receive that, and if that makes you feel joy from me being 100% myself, then I think that we're doing enough work, between what this podcast is supposed to be. Because this podcast is supposed to be like a fun place for all of us. And I don't ever want to sit here and try to continue it when I'm not having fun. So if I'm not having fun, I'm going to try to rework it so that we're all having fun. And so right now, we're just in a process of really redoing everything. And so if you choose to stick around, I just want to say thank you so, so much. But yeah, I think the doggies have had it, and I think we've had a good run. So this is not the end at all. I just want to say that and reestablish that, we're just changing the uploading schedule and kind of like the structure of what this space is. And if you like the vibe of this episode, then I hope that you stick around. But if you want, you can keep up with us on YouTube. It's Mental Chillness. Our full video episodes are going to be on there. We are Mental Chillness on all podcast platforms, so if you can leave us a rating and a review on Apple and Spotify, that would help the podcast a lot. And then you can keep up with us on mentalchillness.podcast on Instagram, Mental Chillness 11 on TikTok, Mental Chillness on Facebook, and I am Mega Khan. And yeah, that's it. Sorry I'm rambling so much, but I didn't even cry that much, so let's go, baby! Have a good day, everyone. Bye.